Hello.
Hey, Sahar, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? Sorry, running a little late. Just internet problems
No
as
problem at
usual.
all.
Happens everywhere. So I'm sorry for that. أحبائي سيداتي أنساتي سادتي في الوطن العربي الكبير، أهلا وسهلا بكم. محدثكم ساهر عطية حمودة يحييكم برفقة المحامي القدير رافائل ارينا، مهندس عملية جود لك العام الماضي، وفان جونج وكينيدي وغيرها من القضايا الكثيرة الناجحة في سنة 2020، والتي ما زلنا نحصد ثمارها في 2022 حتى الآن وعليها طعون. ومهندس جود لك 2021 الذي سيكلمكم باستفاضة عن ما وصلت إليه هذه القضايا، وسيكلمكم أيضا عن قضية 2022 التي سنخرج بها إلى النور يوم 1/4 لبدء القيد في قضية البيج كيس ل 2022. So, Mr. Raphael, how are you doing today? First of all, we like to thank you for being here with us. And I also like to tell you that everybody
Thank you for
been
having
waiting
me.
to hear about the new lawsuit and what happened in the appeals. So, which one you want to start with?
We can start with the new lawsuit. So the
Okay.
big DV 2022 lawsuit, we're going to announce it shortly, probably on April 1st. We'll have an announcement, if not sooner, for everybody to tune in. If people want to sign up for that interest list and be the first to know about the details of that case, they can head over to our website at morrisonurena.com and check it out and sign up so they can get it. But we'll have details about the lawsuit very, very soon. So that's going to be probably April 1st.
السيد رافائيل ارينا بيقول لحضراتكم سنبدأ بالحديث عن 2022. أول شيء نحب نقوله إن 2022 لها قضية سنبدأ فيها April 1st الأول من إبريل، وستكون القضية لكامل 2022. لا يهم ما رقمك، لا يهم الشيء المهم الوحيد أعتقد. So the only important thing is who wants to participate in this, who wants to join you, he has to be completed his DS260, and that's about it, right? Submit it.
Right. Submitting the DS260 is always good practice. I mean, if you want to come to the United States on the diversity visa program, you have to get that done. Even if we were to win the lawsuit and you haven't submitted the actual application, it would be a problem. So
yeah, I mean, this is the only condition. Nothing else can hold it.
Right. There'll be details about exactly the criteria for joining, but it doesn't appear that there'll be any barriers for anybody who wants to join as long as they've submitted the DS260.
السيد رافائيل ارينا بيقول لحضراتكم وبيوافقني ان الشيء الوحيد اللي بيبقى مطلوب من حضرتك مش مهم رقمك كام، مش مهم الكيس نمبر بتاعتك كام، المهم بس انك تكون سبميت وسلمت الدي اس 260 بتاعتك، وتكون كمان جاد في الموضوع وجاد في البحث عن فرصتك للوصول الى الولايات المتحده الامريكيه. Mr. Raphael, that will take. Is there any details we can tell them about 2022 lawsuit when it comes to how much they'll pay, or etc., etc., etc.? If yes, it's okay. If not, we can wait.
Right. I know everybody wants the details. We're going to make it very affordable for everybody. Those details are being ironed out as we speak. I don't want to jump the gun. I want everybody to learn at the same time and have an opportunity to read it. So we'll announce those on April 1st, where everybody will get the details. So next week.
Oh, we said we'll announce them. We'll announce them at 31st of March, and onboarding going to start on April 1st, right?
That's correct. I misspoke. Okay. Onboarding will start on the April 1st.
Okay. So أيها السادة والسيدات، يوافقنا الرأي السيد رافائل أرينا، يقول لحضراتكم أن البدء إن شاء الله سيكون في القيد يوم 1/4. لا يريد أن يسبق jumping guns، لا يريد أن يسبق الأحداث، ويقول لحضراتكم أكثر مما يجب. يوم 31 مارس ستكون كل الحقائق أمام حضراتكم. affordable يعني في متناول الجميع، والوعد اللي احنا لسه عليه باقي إن شاء الله. So that's about 2022. So now we can talk about the appeals that happened in 2020 and 2021. So I'm just put them together as 2020 and 2021. And here, the appeals in 2020 and 2020.
Right, things seem to be moving quickly. The government has a briefing date that they have to submit their briefing issues very shortly. And then the plaintiffs are going to have an opportunity to respond to that. So what we know so far is that we're going to have briefing is going to be completed by June. All of the papers will be submitted to the court by June, and then we'll have a hearing in September. So things are going to be moving somewhat quickly regarding the briefing. So the attorneys are going to be very, very, very busy writing their arguments to the court and sharpening those arguments. And we'll have a hearing in September.
السيد رافائل أرينا بيقول لحضراتكم عن طعون جوميز 2020 وكل قضايا 2020 consolidated، وكل قضايا 2021. الأمور تمشي بجدول زمني سريع نسبيا في محكمة الطعون، وسيكون إن شاء الله كل شيء تم بحلول شهر يونيو، وسيكون الهيرينج وجلسة الاستماع في شهر 9. والآن سأسأله عن هل هذه ثمرة من ثمار التسريع أم أن التسريع كان سيحل أسرع من ذلك. As we listened to other lawyer was talking yesterday, I'm not mentioning who now, unless it's okay with you. He mentioned yesterday that this is not the exhibit that was Judge Mehta talking about, and he said if the exhibit was taken, it would be faster than this. Do you agree?
Well, it depends. I don't know what was exactly going through Judge Mehta's mind when he issued the decision to stay the case. I know that he's going to have to make a decision of whether or not to extend the stay on the DV 2020 and DV 2021 cases, and then Judge Chutkin is going to have to make that same decision as well for the Ray case. Now, what those judges are going to have to do is they're going to have to weigh the hardships between the parties, right? Between the government and between the diversity visa applicants. They're going to have to make a decision on whether a stay is still warranted. Now, this makes it this timeline that the appeal has set out. If a stay is in place, we're looking that processing probably won't resume until the end of 2022 into the fiscal year 2023, right? And we then don't know when they was going to be completed, and they may need some significant amount of time. Now, the judges are going to weigh that with the hardship presented to the government, and they'll make a decision on whether that stay will continue into place.
Good. السيد رافائل أرينا يقول لحضراتكم ردا على سؤالي هل هذا يعتبر استجابة لتسريع القاضي مهتا أم لا، فيقول لا نعرف ما كان يدور في مخيلة الجادج مهتا في هذا الأمر، ولكن سنعلم في وقت تجديد الستي إذا كان القاضي مهتا سيحكم بتمديده أم لا. إذا حكم بالتمديد معنى كده أنه اقتنع التسريع إذا لم يحكم بالتمديد إذا هو لم يأخذ بالتسريع أو التسريع لم يشفي ما كان يريد القاضي أمين مهدي. Mr. Rafائel, so is there a possibility that the stay order can be for 2020 because 2020 and go and Ray, and at the same time we still keep going on good luck, because that's a summary judgment, but this is a procedure. It's in process still, you know.
Right.
So is there a possibility this happened? Like part gonna be on stay, and the other part can be going on until, or what?
Do you think so? Is the question that are we going to look at some sort of processing while the appeal is going on? Is that the question?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's somewhat unlikely that they're going to lift the stay during the appeals, but it is a possibility that a stay could be lifted. But I don't think it's very likely that we'll have processing resume before an appeal is completed. Now, there's another part of that. The good luck case, there could be a decision in good luck prior to the appeal court deciding, but I think that's also unlikely as well. But if the appeal court sides with Judge Mehta and Judge Chutkan, I think the good luck decision will require the State Department to process those visas at the same timeline as DV 2020 and DV 2021 because they'll be processing visas already. So it doesn't make sense to make it go on a different timeline.
Good. السيد رافائيل ارينا ردا على سؤال هل يمكن للقاضي مهتا في قضية جود لك ورزالس والقضايا التي مع المنضمة على جود لك أن يحكم بنفس بالتوازي مع الأمر ستي في قضية جو وجوميز حتى تأخذ محكمة الطعون قرارا؟ فكان رده في الأغلب هذا لا يحدث، لكنه يمكن أن يحدث ذلك، ويمكن أيضا أن نرى قرارا نهائيا أو حكما في قضية جود لك قبل انتهاء الطعن المقدم أمام محكمة الطعون وعليه. فهذا ممكن، نعم ممكن، ولكنه مستبعدا. So with that being said, is there anything you want to say else, or should we proceed with the questions?
We can go ahead and proceed with questions.
Okay, so banner, let's take that off. So we will start from the end. And this one, كيف سيتم توزيع جود لك علما بأنها ليست كلاس أكشن، ومتى تتم المقابلات في السفارات وخصوصا القاهرة. He's talking about good luck. He said, do you have any idea? It's the question is how will be good luck visa distributed, knowing it's not class action, and when will that happen in embassies, especially Cairo?
The judges haven't been inclined in their orders to tell the State Department how to process these reserved visas. They haven't told them how they should do that. And the State Department hasn't told us how they're going to do that either. Before the stay, Curtis and I were challenging the judges to make the State Department give us more information about how they were going to process these cases, because it was assumed that processing was going to begin very shortly, but they never did that. So we don't have information at this point on how the State Department is going to process the good luck reserved visas. And we also don't have information on how they're going to process the Ray reserved visas or the Gomez related visas either for that class action. We just don't, the State Department hasn't given us any information on what that's going to look like.
Okay. So السيد رافائيل أرينا بالإجابة على سؤال فخري. الإجابة على سؤالك أننا ليس عندنا أي علم، ولم يحكم القاضي أميت مهتا بأي طريقة سيكون التوزيع، وبالتالي ليس عندنا أي علم بحيثية التوزيع أو حيثية متى سيكون التطبيق. كان المحامي رافائيل أرينا وشريكه كيرتس موريسون يودان ذلك، وهم جهزا أوراقا ومجادلات تكفي لإقناع القاضي من وجهة نظرهم بذلك، ولكن حتى الآن ليس لدينا علم، لا أحد يعلم ولا القاضي مهتا أصلا تحدث في متى أو كيفية التوزيع. So Muhammad, he said, if the case when, how many will go to Egypt? But let me answer him. Yeah, Muhammad, أي قضية, which case you talking about? أنت بتتكلم عن أي قضية؟ نرجو التوضيح. Thank you for your efforts, Mr. Raphael and Mrs. I joined 2022. I joined? You mean if you joined? Lawsuit interest last, but in the interest last. Okay. What do you say to those who doubt to the effect of such lawsuit? Very good question. It's yours. الأخ شريف ضيف بيقول هو انضم لقائمة الانتظار للانضمام في القضية، لكن ماذا تقول للمشككين في القضية والتسريع أو جدولة المقابلات؟ Yes, sir.
Right. So I would say that in DV 2020, no one can doubt that the people that participated in those lawsuits before the September 30th deadline had an advantage, right? In the first DV 2020, I think the Mohammed and the Foam Jung plaintiffs were given extraordinary advantage in the processing of their visas before the deadline. Now for DV 2021, there was a large push of 8,000 visas right before the deadline, and many of the people who participated in the lawsuits were given a visa and were already in the United States. Many of them have arrived, but a large number of people did not receive it. But I don't think they would say, anybody who participated in Good Luck would say they wish they didn't participate, because now that's their only opportunity to get a visa, right? If you didn't participate in DV 2021 litigation and weren't issued a visa before September 30th, for the most part, unless you're in one of the Ray-related embassies, your journey to the United States on that selection is over. So every year you see something slightly change, right? Every judge is a little different about how they see it. And in the new DV 2022 lawsuit, it's not necessary that we may have the judges that have seen it before, and they may have a different outlook and may give plaintiffs processing of their visas, and certainly in the course of the scheduling of the interviews, the preservation of visas is going to be, if it goes beyond September 30th deadline, the only way you can come to the United States.
السيد رافائيل أرينا بيجاوب على سؤال شريف ضيف. بيقول أثر القضايا كان كبيرا في 2020، وكان مدعين فانجونج وباقي مدعين قضاياه كان يذهب إليهم أو يحصلون على المقابلات بمنتهى التأكيد، يعني بكل تأكيد حصل كل المدعين عنده عدا قضية كينيدي لأنها كانت متأخرة شوية، حصلوا على مواعيد، ومنهم من كلمتهم السفارة تليفونيا واستدعتهم في القاهرة. بينما في دفع 2020 في قضية جود لك 2021 كانت القضية لها أكبر أثر على الضغط على الحكومة لإبراز حسن النوايا ثم أمر التسريع من القاضي في قضية جود لك، وبذلك حصلنا على أكثر من 8000 تأشيرة قبل خط النهاية وقبل يوم 30/9. نفس الشيء لهذا العام. القضية من ناحية القضية ستضغط بقوة على الحكومة، ويتوقع أن يكون فيها عدد معقول. القضية ستضغط بقوة على الحكومة لتسريع الوتيرة الحالية، كما سيحاولون طبعا الاحتفاظ وحفظ تأشيرات أيضا، بما في ذلك حضرتك مثلا الأستاذ شريف ضيف، لو كنت في 2021 فمدعي جود لك 2021 دلوقتي هم الوحيدين اللي عندهم فرصة، وهو لا يظن أن أي واحد فقط من مدعي جود لك ندم على أنه اشترك فيها، لأنها السبب الوحيد حتى الآن أن يكون عنده أي حظوظ أو أمل في مقابلة أو تأشيرة إن شاء الله. فنفس الشيء ينطبق على 2022. فخري He said, in Egypt, our lawsuit takes a long time, but it doesn't take years. And judge usually give a straight and understanding judgment. And we are in the third world country. How about such a civilized country like America?
The wheels of justice move slowly. Every country has their different ways they're going about it. I think I don't think all of the decisions made by the court have moved slowly. We had some decisions come relatively quickly. You think about the preliminary injunction orders. Those are to get things moving quickly in a case, especially when there is interest that may be hurt by it moving slowly. I think there's a recognition that things may move slowly in our system, and that's why they preserved visas beyond the September 30th deadline. That's just the way things work here.
اوكي. للسيد شريف ضيف، ليس كل شيء هنا يمشي ببطء، لكن احيانا، ولكن عجله القانون والعداله تاخذ وقتا هنا. هو معاك، ولكن في البرايمري انجنكشن بيكون اسرع من ذلك. في انواع اخرى من القضايا بتكون سريعه، وفي انواع بتاخد وقت، ولكن we can base that on how the government wants to stretch the time to, right?
Right, yeah. Sometimes that's the strategy for them to stretch things out, make things go longer.
وأحيانا تكون استراتيجية الحكومة هي أن تماطل في الوقت يا أخ فخري.
And I can add this: do all the cases in Egypt move quickly? I thought some cases drag out for a long time.
Yep. I'm assuming Fakhri is from Egypt, but I don't know for sure. Yep, he says by us in Egypt last. Yep, in Egypt. Okay, so here is a question. السلام عليكم. يمكن أن يمدد إيقاف فيها الحوزة وإن العكس؟ كيف تصور مجرى التجديدات؟ Some errors there. Type in Amr Brill. He's saying can Judge Mehta can not to extend the stay, and in this case, what do you think going to happen if he does not extend the stay? If he would not do that,
right? If he does not extend the stay, then we're looking at probably giving them a little more time to get their systems in place, and then processing will resume shortly after that.
I thought they said April.
Right, but they haven't been working on it since the stay. They probably haven't been working on it since the stay was implemented, right? Because they're no longer under the enforcement of the order, so they're probably going to need a little stretch that timeline out. But I think, like I said, I think it's if the stay was not extended, I would be very surprised.
هو يحبذ أن أمر ستي سيتم تمديده، ولكن إذا لم يتم سيكون بس بعض الوقت للحكومة تبدأ تفعل تفعيل ذلك على السيستم، على أجهزتها ونظامها، وبعد ذلك يتوقع بدء إعطاء التأشيرات. فلما قلت له هم قالوا إبريل، قال هم كانوا خلاص يعني دلعوا شوية بعد ما خدوا الأمر ستي. فلو ما حصلش أمر تجديد لأمر ستي فهيكون في شوية وقت، حاجة بسيطة عشان يبدأوا، ده توقعه، ولكنه يتوقع extend لأمر stay. Thank you so much.
Right, and this is a little, I guess it would be.
Yep.
So Sahar, here's a little news that we have. So about 3 hours ago, the government asked us our position on the motion to extend the stay. Curtis and I, in the cases that we have in the Mohammed Fung John Kennedy Ray case, we've asked we're going to oppose that. So just so everybody knows, although the stay has been implemented, Curtis and I still are fighting to have that stay lifted at the end of the 30 days.
لازم تعرفوا حضراتكم إذا كنتم تبع 2020 أو 2021 وقضاياهم، السيد رافائيل ارينا يخبر حضراتكم من وقت قليل 3 أو 4 ساعات جاء إيميل من الحكومة يطلب أن يعرف موقف رافائيل ارينا وشريكه كيرتس مورسون من تمديد أمر ستي. وكان رد مورسون وارينا واضح جدا أنهم لا يقبلون بالتمديد. فهو عايزكم تعرفوا أن هو بيحارب بالفعل هذا الموقف، ولكن التوقع شيء والمجهود والعمل شيء آخر. فهو يعمل في وقف هذا التمديد ولكنه يتوقع تمديده. لا تحديث جديد في الكونغرس حاليا، ممكن يكون مستقبلا. Hussein is answering people asking about the Congress, and that's a good topic to talk about now because we have like tons of people are talking about the Congress here. Let me get. So the question gonna be, what do you think about the Congress? Are they gonna come out with something? Is there still a hope in that? We're talking about Ming, about the new proposal that they're doing now. They said Durbin and Balia and the others. Maybe you see that Tuesday before the last week, the week before the last week on Tuesday, they say they have a new proposal. And what do you think?
I'm not confident in our Congress to pass anything at this time. I hope that they do. I think it will help a lot of people. I think there's a lot of important people in Congress that are advocating for it. You have Representative Richie Torres, Representative Meng, who are working for that. You have some community activists that are bringing it to the attention. I think there was a video of a Yemeni activist bringing it to the attention of the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, the diversity visas. They brought it up to another congressman from New York yesterday, or I believe it may be yesterday or today. So it's on their radar. It's just very difficult in today's political climate to get anything done. So I'm hoping that they can move the needle on it, but it doesn't look like there's very much going on there. They're going to have to get 60 senators to vote for it, and that's going to be hard. They're going to need 10 Republican senators.
اوكي. السيد رافائيل ارينا في جوابه عن موضوع الكونغرس بصفة عامة هو يعرف أن هناك نواب زي جريس مينغ وريتشي توريز يتحركون في هذا المضمار ويحاولون الحصول على أي شيء في صف الهجرة للولايات المتحدة الأمريكية بشكل عام، ويعلم جيدا ما يحدث داخل الكونجرس زي حضراتكم أكتر شوية. هو يعلم كمان أن في فيديو أحد الناشطين اليمنيين هنا وجهه في أمريكا، أحد المؤسسات الناشطة في أمريكا من اليمنيين وجهت فيديو خصصوه لتشاك شومر زعيم الأغلبية، ولكن هو ليس مستريحا لذلك وغير مطمئن، لأن الكونجرس هيخرج قرار خصوصا في الجو الحادث دلوقتي في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية بصفة عامة. هو يأمل ذلك ويتمنى، لأنه هيعطي ريليف، هيعطي يعني فرصة لكثير جدا من الناس، وحضراتكم عارفين في سنوات 3-4 سنوات فائتة، ولكنه لا يظن أن سيكون هناك قرار، ويعني بيقول أفلاح إن صدق، لو جت من كونغرس يبقى كويس جدا. So why we do not hoping that there is something, or why we hope but we don't think anything gonna come from that directions? What is the circumstances that happen and that makes us, I know we need 60 votes, but what is going on that taking their attention away? I mean, why they're not focusing on that? And if they're searching about immigration, where is diversity visa from their perspective? Is it even there?
Well, and I think the diversity visa program has some enemies in Congress, right? We've seen legislation introduced to end the program entirely. We saw the former President Trump, go out vehemently to end the program, the diversity visa lottery program. So I think there's not this broad consensus that everybody likes the program itself. So there'll be opponents to this, no matter what. Even if we can get some sort of deal going, there's going to be people that just oppose it altogether. The issue is that we can't. The Democrats couldn't pass it through reconciliation and tying it to a budget bill to only require 50 votes. They wouldn't need to get any of the Republicans on board. So I think what's going on, what the difficult part is to try to woo or to court other Republicans to try to get them to vote for the bill when people in their party are opposed to it. So I think that's what's the headwind.
So that's you talking about the diversity visa. I'll explain this part first, then I'll hear from you about the rest of the immigration, why we don't see that anything going to come from that side. السيد رافائل ارينا بيقول مبدئيا هو يعني آسف جدا انه يقول هناك اعداء لكلمة الهجرة العشوائية، وقد رأينا نوابا يطالبون بإلغائها، ورأينا الرئيس الأمريكي دونالد ترامب يطالب بإلغاء الهجرة العشوائية بالكامل سابقا. وهناك في البرلمان الأمريكي من لا يزالوا يعتقدون اعتقاد دونالد ترامب ومتأثرين بأفكاره. لذلك فهو رافائل ارينا ورفاقه يعلمون أن هناك من يحارب الهجرة العشوائية داخل الكونغرس الأمريكي ولا يرغب في استمرارها من أصله. So now the circumstances around that, which I want to explain to the audience from your perspective, what is holding the rest of the Congress or the judiciary completely about the whole immigration? Why they're not agreeing on the whole thing? We see that they went to the reconciliation, the BBB, Ming Amendment, and the lost failure. And what's going on?
Well, I think the sides just can't agree on much of anything, right? I think everybody agrees that our system is broken, that it's underfunded, that it's not working for America in its present state. I think everybody's upset about it, but they just can't seem to agree on a path forward. Republicans really want enforcement. They want to build a wall, right? They want to increase deportations, and the Democrats want to increase immigration. They want to increase asylees acceptance, refugees acceptance, and trying to get them together to try to get a path forward and make some concessions or deals is just proven very, very difficult.
Very good. What you bring now to the audience now is something nobody talked to them before about it. I will tell you later. I will tell you in a few seconds what's happening in the field. I mean, if we're on the stage, there's on the stage, and there's people listening to things I'm going to tell you right now. السيد رافائيل ارينا بيقول لحضراتكم ردا على سؤال لماذا هذا العطب ولماذا هذه العطلة في شأن الهجرة بصفة عامة. يعني إذا كنا اتكلمنا بشأن الهجرة العشوائية بصفة خاصة، الهجرة بصفة عامة، لماذا هذا العطب؟ دخل موضوع الريكونسيليشن وسقط، دخل البي بي بي وسقط، دخل تعديل بنج وسقط. فهو رده ان هناك من لا يرغب ابدا في تمرير شيء للهجرة، لانهم يعتقدون الجانبين، اذا كان الريبابليكان او الديمقراطيين، فيعتقدون ان هناك عطبا في نظام الهجرة لامريكا يجب تعديله. الجانبين يعتقدون ان ليس هناك تمويلا كافيا لموضوع الهجرة، وليس هناك قانون ونهج وسيستم واضح لمشروع الهجرة بصفة عامة في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. فمن ناحية الجمهوريون عايزين enforcement، عايزين شرطة الترحيلات ويرحلوا ناس، وعايزين build wall، عايزين يبنوا الحائط في الجنوب مع الحدود مع المكسيك، فدول ضد الهجرة. فمن الصعب جدا تقنع ناس ضد الهجرة وترامبويين ومتربيين على ترامب ونهج ترامب وطريقة ترامب، وفي نفس الوقت عايزهم يوافقوك على مخالفة ترامب، لذلك بتكون صعبة جدا. What people hear in the groups is that no, everything gonna be great. They exactly hear that. What I'm gonna tell you now. Everything gonna be great. What's happening now is the government is delaying, just delaying everything in court, because they know the Congress is gonna be stop. I will pay for all that. You guys can forget about it. I'll pay for everything. I will let everybody have visa, and that's what people are listening to, because there is people that want people to keep watching them so they get viewers. There's I don't want to say any names, but there's reporters that put in anything about immigration just so people click on them, which is really not ethically. Yes, I'm listening.
Well, I think delivering the news about what's going on, I think, is right. I think there are people working on trying to get this done, right? There's a lot of smart people that are trying to get something done for visa recapturing or an immigration bill across the finish line. I think anybody who says that it's going to be a monumental uplifting is doing a disservice to the listener, because it is going to be something hard. I mean, people have been trying to get this done for a very, very, very long time. I mean, if you just look at DACA and the Dreamers, right? How long have they been trying to get that deal done? And that seems like another. So something really, really simple to try to get done for some people who were brought here as children is also have proven guilty. So it's something hard that's going to need to be done, and I don't know if there's an appetite for it yet.
Okay, but is it true that there is a deal between the government and the judge and the
absolutely
Congress?
Not. No deal.
And that the Congress is gonna say, okay, just hold on, everybody. I'm paying for everybody. You guys can lay back, and I'll do everything.
Absolutely not.
Is that happening?
Absolutely not.
السيد رافائيل ارينا قلت له ان في ناس بتعشم خلق الله وبتقول لهم الكونجرس هيقول وسع يا جدع، انا هدفع الحساب. مش عايز اقول الكلمه اللي بتتقال، انا هدفع الحساب. فقال مطلقا ما فيش كلام من ده. هل القاضي الحكومة والكونغرس متفقين مع بعض بحيث ان الكونغرس هيخلص الموضوع، قال لي مفيش كلام من ده، ولكنه بيقول في نفس الوقت ان الكلام عن المشاريع في الصحافة و ده شيء يعني مستحسن، ولكن اي حد يتصور ان الموضوع هينتهي نهاية ما حصلتش يعني قبل كده فاكيد غلطان. مش من السهل ان احنا نقنع الناس بان الدنيا وردي، طبعا ده بقول لكم انا، ولكن في نفس الوقت هناك جهود تبذل مش من النهارده مش من امبارح، من السبعينات كداكا والدريمرز، ولا حياة لمن تنادي، وده كلامه عن موضوع الكونغرس. So let's take the Congress away and go back to the questions. Is it okay? Is there any question that you see and you want to answer?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here, he's saying, you can read it. I'll say it in Arabic to the people.
So let me peruse. Yeah.
الأستاذ شريف ضيف بيسأل السيد رافائل أرينا: هل تظن أن موضوع الأولويات لا يزال مطبقا في السفارات؟ لذلك ولذلك السفارات بتمشي كل الأولويات وبتعطل الهجرة العشوائية. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So the question is, do you think there's a strong proof that the prioritizing scheme, the prioritization scheme, is still on in American consulates and that they neglect the DV interviews deliberately? I think there is strong evidence of that they have some sort of prioritization scheme, and I don't think the government is hiding it. They say they argue in court that they have the discretion, that they have the ability or the power to prioritize certain visas over other visas. And some judges have agreed with them that they have that power. Some judges have disagreed on how they can do that as well. So to the extent that they're doing it deliberately or just deprioritizing, I think they are doing it, and they say it, that they are prioritizing other visa categories over diversity visas.
هو يوافق حضرتك أستاذ شريف تماما، وهناك أدلة على ذلك. فمن حيث هم بيطبقوه، هو عنده أدلة إن في بعض السفارات تعتقد أنها تقدر على ذلك، وبعض السفارات تعتقد أن من حقها ذلك. فإجابته على سؤالك فعلا هو يظن ذلك. Now there is a question here about 2020 and the Muslim ban. She said, what's the chances for those who've been rejected because of the Muslim ban in 2020 when it comes to the 9,095 visa? They have chances with that if...
I think they do have I think they do have a chance to have a re-adjudication of their visas. I think the order from Judge Mehta in Gomez's case doesn't preclude the State Department from doing a re-adjudication of visas for individuals that were denied under the Muslim ban. I don't think there is there's nothing precluding that. But to say for certain whether they will receive a re-adjudication of their visas applications, I think we have to wait until the State Department gives us more information about the processing of those visas. So the short thing is, yes, they have hope. The second thing is, for certain, we have to wait for the more information from the State Department.
إجابة السيد رافائل أرينا لميعاد فتحي: هو يظن أن هناك إن شاء الله حظوظ لكم في 9095 تأشيرة، ولكن ذلك سيتوقف على صدور الحكم النهائي، صدور وجهة نظر الحكومة في تطبيق ذلك. وهو يرى أن من الطبيعي أن الحكومة ري-education، يعني إعادة إدخال حضراتكم للمقابلات من مرة أخرى بالنسبة للموقوفين أو المعارضين واللي تعرضوا للمسلم بان ان شاء الله. Is there any chance that they get their visas by the next month? They get a judgment or a decision 2020 for the 9,095 visa. Is there a possibility?
And the next is the question is, will they get their visa? No, there is no chance that they'll get their visas.
الإجابة على هذا السؤال يا محمد سيد محروس لا. I don't know what is that. Sorry, I just came, but I need if there's any visa issued in 2021. السؤال من عيسى بيقول هل هناك تأشيرات صدرت في 2021؟ سؤال حضرتك مش دقيق، يعني حضرتك لازم تفهمنا عايز تقوله ازاي. لو سمحت اكتبه حتى ولو بالعربي وانا هقوله تاني. But we cannot answer such a question that we don't really know what you're asking about here. So please explain it, because Mr. Rafائel is a lawyer. He can't just randomly answer like that. We cannot predict what you mean. Please explain even in Arabic, and I will let him know. If you allow me, sir. I said that. He's asking about his chances here. His DS-20 260 was really delayed, and he had any news about it. And he's supposed to go in Riyadh. He submitted on July. So for this, I usually answer them to go and ask what's going on. And there is a form that I made in my Telegram group. Anything you want to say about this? That's his number there, AF, and he's meeting in Riyadh, which is AS, which is fine.
Right. Right. I think it's relatively close, low case number. There's a good chance. You just got to be active on trying to make sure your DS-260 is reviewed, and that your case ends up in Riyadh at the embassy, so you could be scheduled. But you're going to have to. But the way DV processing has been conducted over the last 2 years, it's hard to say whether you'll get an interview or not. And I don't think you can just rely on not doing anything to make sure that happens. Most people have had to take their claims to court, and they've had to push embassies, and so it's hard to say.
السيد رافائيل أرينا بيقول لك يا حكيم المفروض انك ما تقعدش ساكت، حاول تسأل، حاول تضغط، تشوف ايه اللي بيحصل لل DS-260 بتاعك. انت عندك رقم كيس يعتبر صغير، فما تضيعش الفرصة من نفسك. في ناس بيروحوا محاكم، في ناس بيحاولوا يشوفوا اي طريقة علشان يستغلوا الفرصة، والفرصة دي بتيجي مرة واحدة في السنة زي ما انت عارف يا حكيم. سلام عم. He's writing in Arabic too here. It's Arabic still. سلام يا عم، احكي لنا عاديس. He wants to know what do you think about the form 5535 يوقد الدراسة لكيس. شكرا. He wants to know what is the he wants to know about 5535 and how long it takes.
Right. The 5535 takes a different amount of time when submitted for every person. Depends on what they're looking for and why they've asked for it. Certain people it takes much longer. Some people it goes relatively quickly. Administrative processing is a unpredictable beast with these security checks. Some people I've had clients spend years in administrative processing awaiting security checks. And I've had other clients that it's taken care of relatively quickly within a week. So it can vary.
السيد لبيدرو، أنا بقول لبيدرو، السيد رافائيل أرينا بيقول لحضرتك من حيث الوقت فمن حالة لحالة تختلف. هناك إجراءات إدارية أخذت يوم، إجراءات إدارية أخذت أسبوع، أخذت شهر، شهرين. هناك إجراءات أخذت سنين زي أخونا من 2020 موجود دلوقتي في أمريكا، ولكن الأمر يختلف من مكان لمكان، من حالة لحالة، من الفحص الأمني من حالة لحالة، ولكن يعني لا تسكت وحاول تستغل الوضع. Somebody saying here خاص بقضية كيرتس مورجان. This is about Curtis Morgan lawsuit والجديد في القنصلية. Anything new in Casablanca about DV 2021? And he's sending greetings, and he's thankful for you to be here. I'm proud, especially for Mr. Meher, which is me. Sometimes they call me Meher. It's common because my name is a little strange. Okay. Any news about Casablanca when it comes to 2021, sir?
Right. Well, this is the news, that there's no processing going on right now. There's a stay in place, so the government isn't working on the cases. The attorneys in Good Luck are fighting that stay and are proceeding to be victorious in the appeals for the DV 2020 and DV 2021 related cases. So nothing's going on in that embassy.
إجابة السيد رافائل أرينا أن لا يحدث أي شيء، لأن الموضوع في موضع توقف حاليا في المحكمة، وبذلك لا شيء يحدث بالنسبة ل 2021 في كازابلانكا أو في غير كازابلانكا. وده الرد ليك يا أستاذ حسن، ومتشكرين لذوق حضرتك. Is there any chance to ignore the hearing in the appeal? He just wants to ignore the far part. I hear him. Can judge take a final judgment in the end of June? That's, I'll translate it to Arabic first. الأستاذ زكي أو زكريا أو زاك إسحاق بيقول هل هناك فرصة أن القاضي في الأبيل لا يحتاج للهيرنج، وهل يمكن أن يحكم في خلال شهر يونيو؟ Yes, sir.
Right. I don't think there's any chance that anybody's going to ignore the appeal. They could weigh the appeal and say, I'm not going to wait for the appeal to issue a decision in
he's
case,
saying here the hearing. Ignore, I mean, delete, cancel the hearing. And
say, no, I think there'll definitely be oral arguments on the case.
الإجابة على السؤال إذا كنت تعني أن سيتجاهل الاستماع ويدي قرار قبل الاستماع. If you're talking about ignoring the hearing, means he doesn't need the hearing and he can make a judgment at the end of June, like you say. إذا كنت تعني أنه سيتجاهل الجلسة وسيحكم في شهر يونيو، فالإجابة لا، هذا ليس ممكنا. فلا بد أن يكون هناك argument، لازم يكون في مرافعات شفوية. Okay. لو سمحت هل تعطي المقابلات 20 سنة؟ He's saying from your perspective and opinion, Mahmoud Khattab is asking, do you think that the delay and what's happened since 2020 to 2022 in the Egyptian, in the American embassy in Cairo, would that affect 2023?
Yes. There was a hearing in an immigration-related case in Maryland, in which the government was told to bring a representative from immigration to speak about delays in processing. They said, that immigration official said, that once there's a backlog created in immigration, it is rarely resolved. So the backlog, they essentially stays forever unless there's a major infusion of resources. So it doesn't appear, if you look at the backlog tracker for the State Department, it doesn't come down very much every month, right? I think Curtis, my partner, put up a tweet about that. That's how it's going to take years to get resolved. So I think that we're going to have DV 2023 have issues as well of the processing, unless the government makes a concerted effort to give more resources to the program. And what we've seen so far is that they don't intend to do so.
بالنسبة لسؤال محمود خطاب، هل ستتأثر 2023؟ السيد رافائل أرينا رده هنا بيقول رأيتم في استدعاء أحد الخبراء في الكونغرس الأمريكي وفي اللجنة اللي كانت معمولة قبل أسبوعين قولوا أن طالما حدث تراكما وباكلوج من الصعب جدا جدا تخطي هذا بدون تدخل كبير من جهة ما لإنهاء هذا التراكم بالتمويل، وبذلك هو وكيرس بورسون كان عمل تويتة بشأن ذلك في محاولة منه لإظهار ذلك لمن يهمه الأمر. So this is something you answered already. Are you gonna give any objection to the Judge Mehta in the next few days about the pending?
Well, we've opposed the motion. We've told the government we opposed the motion. I imagine there would be some sort of filing on the case about the opposition, and that should be in a couple of days.
لسه من شوية السيد رافائل أرينا قال إن تقدموا بالفعل بمذكرة وستكون في المحكمة خلال اليومين القادمين إن شاء الله لمعارضة محاولة الحكومة التمديد، ولكنه يعتقد أن القاضي قد يمدد له. Some people are talking about individual things like their case numbers, so and so. So me and Hussein and Simon are kind of give and take about this email. When they receive an email says your case number is now current for interview processing, I take that as a complete sentence right there, and it's talking about the case number. Simon takes it as the DS is already in the embassy. Based on the following sentence, gonna say once the interview has been scheduled, you will receive so and so. And since your case at the embassy, if you've been scheduled, your case, your DS 260 will be in the embassy, and you can only ask the embassy for any processing or correcting. What I say here, based on the first sentence right there, your case number is ready. So he's talking about the case number right there. Do you think if you receive this, especially that the most humongous amount of people now is receiving this, because in Africa is up to 60,000, you know, so most people getting this now instead of the other one. So can you tell me your opinion about this?
Well, I think it's hard to tell now with the language used by KCC and the State Department. We know that the language they use doesn't always mean what they wanted to say. I think the way I understand how KCC works and the National Visa Center, which is also in the coordination of diversity visas, is that the embassy is telling the State Department when they have interviews available. So then the KCC and NVC in coordination then say this amount of people can be scheduled for an interview, and only when they're ready to be scheduled for an interview does the case go to the embassy. So the embassy I don't believe the embassies are holding diversity visa cases prior to them being able to schedule them for visas. So if my understanding is correct, that means that this email does not mean that the case is at the embassy. It means that it's strictly related to the case number.
يظن السيد رافائل أرينا إن حضراتكم النص هنا وهو شايف إن KCC أو MVC coordinated والخارجية الأمريكية نص الإيميلات بتاعتهم لا تعني ما يظهر، وقد يكونوا يتعمدون ذلك، ولكن من خلال فهمه فإن السفارات هي التي تطلب الحالات من KCC، بمعنى ان السفارات هي اللي بتقول لKCC عايزه 100 حاله، انا اوكي عندي مكان ل 80 حاله، وهكذا. غير ذلك ما بتوصلش الكيسز للسفارات، و بذلك فهو يتصور ان معنى الايميل ده مش معناه ان الكيس بتاعتك في السفاره او مش في السفاره. So can we say that this email means the DS-260 have been processed already?
Well, I think
from my perspective, again, from my perspective here, the difference is I think they're talking about the case number only, while others say no, it's talking about interview processing. I say interview processing means you're talking about the visa bulletin here.
Right. It seems well, it certainly doesn't say that your DS-260 is completed, right? I mean, perhaps somebody is trying to read tea leaves and you know, infer that. But I don't think, unless you have a visa interview scheduled, I don't think it means very much. You're going to have to still advocate on behalf, and you're going to still have to try to figure out where the case is at. The short answer is that, listen, we really don't know what the embassy means. I think in good luck, we've seen some sort of things that even KCC doesn't know when somebody's DS-260 is completed. So how are we going to figure out what they know if they don't even know it? So it's hard. You know, the KCC is a mess.
هو يقول أن KCC عبارة عن مكان فوضوي وفي فوضى شديدة، لخبطة يعني، وبيقول إن let me put حسين. وبيقول إن فعلا لا نستطيع أن نحكم من خلال هذا الإيميل إذا كان حصل لك processing أم لا. من وجهة نظره قد نكون إحنا خاطئين، قد يكون سايمون صح، قد يكون حسين فلوريدا صح، قد يكون غيرنا صح، ولكن من خلال اللغة الموجودة المستخدمة والكلمات لا نستطيع أن نحكم ما المقصود من هذا. والسنة الماضية في قضية جود لك رأينا الحكومة نفسها لا تعرف هل الدي اس بتاع الناس اللي موجودة دي تم معالجته أم لا. If you receive that means your case is ready for interview processing. If the post are accepting cases, just wait for your turn to be scheduled. Okay, still Hussein, we didn't justify any of them. The question, Hussein, here is the DS-260 processed or not yet? Hussein is a great person, really great person, and I'm telling you, sometimes I'm jealous. Everybody loves Hussein, maybe because he appears just for a few minutes.
Yeah, everybody loves Hussein. He's very smart too. He knows a lot. I mean,
yeah,
people have different opinions about things. It's okay, you know.
Yeah. Well, the only difference between me and Hussein, he's like 30 and I'm 53.
Yeah.
So that being said, I say no, and it means no. For him, okay, just let them. Just let them. When somebody come and talk to me about the Congress, I say, hey, listen, don't just keep elaborating. And we said no, and no is a no. That's what I know. You cannot change my perspective. For Hussein, he's just smooth talker.
Hussein thinks it's been processed. That's okay. I think it never doesn't matter until that case gets to the embassy and you're before a consular officer. So, you know.
Well, everybody said to Hussein, why don't you go and work in KCC? We love you.
Yeah, you should apply. He might not like his friends, his colleagues there, though.
Yeah. هل يمكن اعتبار حكم الاحتفاظ مكسبا ويمكن الحكومة تقلب الطاولة في الطعن? Now Amir is writing in Arabic, but he say, should we consider that the 9,095 visa is a win, or the government can just flip the table and win again, or we lose. Possibility.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that anything can happen before the Court of Appeals. Listen, we're going to have to wait for the judges to be assigned to the case, the briefing to be completed. Anything can happen at the Court of Appeals, and those visas, there's a chance that the government is trying to get rid of those visas. So is it a possibility? Yes, I have to keep it completely honest with everybody here. Am I confident we will succeed? Yes, I am.
من ناحية هل هو نجيب الآخر، هل هو متأكد إنه أو عنده ثقة إنه سيكسب القضية؟ فعلا هو عنده ثقة إنه سيكسب القضية، ولكن في محكمة الطعن كل شيء يجوز وجائز، ولكنه لا يزال واثقا في فوزه هو. عايزين نقول في نفس الوقت العدل في أمريكا، إنك لما بتخش قضية، القضية دي تكون نفس حظوظ الفوز هي نفس حظوظ الخسارة، وهو ده العدل. ولا يعرف الحكم إلا القاضي قبل أن ينطق بالحكم. Shaza is asking, what is, in your opinion, when will Africa have a visa bulletin, the word current? This year, 2022.
I can't predict it. It's going to be soon, I guess. I mean, it looks like they're pretty high up there already, right?
Yeah.
So,
my own perspective, I thought it's well, I want to get us Hussein in this one. So Hussein said April or May. From my side, I said May or June. So I'm assuming that it's gonna be June, because now we're 60 and it's only like 60.
Right, and then there's always still those countries with high DV cases that have to wait a little bit longer too than everybody else.
They already have the word accept.
Yeah. So
Egypt, Nepal,
we'll see.
Iran.
Yeah, Egypt. Yeah. So we'll see when that happens. What else happens is that everybody becomes current eventually. So.
So do you agree next month or the next visa bulletin or the one after that?
Don't know. Sorry, you guys. It's like it's like flipping a coin, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. But I think this is what I've heard. This is what I've heard. This is what I got from. I watched Charlene Oppenheimer discuss the DV 2021 program at the close of the year, and he said that the interest in the program was low. That's why it became current sooner last year. So they weren't getting enough people.
But
we know that's not true, right? We know that's not true.
That's not true, because he said that based on how many people sent, and we found out that people already sent everything.
Right. So this is what I think is that because there's so many delays in KCC processing, they have to become current sooner because they don't have enough visas, enough applications to send to the embassies, because they're so disorganized at the KCC. So they have to make everybody current because they're not having enough visas or applications go to the embassies. That's what I think is happening. So it's not that there's not, I think Charlie Oppenheimer got it wrong. It's not that there are not enough people interested in the program. I think it's that the KCC hasn't processed enough visas, enough applications at KCC to send to the embassies. And that's why they have to make it current more quickly.
Okay. I hope our dear friend,
if I would guessing, I don't know.
At us.
I think it's mostly problems at the KCC that they have to make everybody. So I would guess more sooner because they would need more applications going out to the embassies.
So you more likely say sooner than later.
Right.
اوكي. السيد رافائل ارينا بيقول ان هو متصور ان هيحصل ده قريبا. حاولت اقول له الشهر ده، الشهر اللي جاي، الفيزا بولتن اللي جاي، الفيزا بولتن اللي بعده. قال ان في اكسبت دول مستثناه، غير كده هو يظن ان الفيزا بولتن هتبقى قريبا جدا كورنت. وهو قال ان بسبب زي ما قال تشارلي اوبنهايم قال السنة اللي فاتت إن مفيش ناس بعتت كتير، وده إحنا عارفين إنه كذاب، مش كذاب، غلط، كلام فاضي يعني. ولكن السنة دي بسبب الديلي في KCC، بسبب التعطيل اللي حاصل في KCC، فKCC ما عندهاش 55,000 تأشيرة، 55,000 حالة علشان تبعتهم للامباسي. فبذلك KCC هتعتبر ان مثلا عندها 30 40 45 هو كده، يبقى الباقي كورنت، وده وضعيه KCC. فلذلك اتصور ان كورنت sooner than later اقرب، يعني الاجابه قريبا وليس بعيدا. حسب احتياجات السفاره، حسب احتياجات السفاره كل سفاره ارقامها DS تقوم بمراجعه KCC. هل هذا يعني ان KCC تقوم when they put English through the Arabic on StreamYard, it jeopardizes everything. هل هذا يعني ان KCC تقوم بمراجعه DS حسب احتياجات السفاره؟ That's really a smart question right there. She said, does this mean KCC processed the DS 260 based on what the embassy is telling them require? I want 100 Ks, so they process 100 Ks?
No, I don't think so. I think the processing of the DS 260 is done first, and then once that processing is completed, there's a pool. So I don't think the embassy say, I have 100 visas, we need 100 visas scheduled, so we process 100 visas. I think the processing of the DS 260 occurs first before it goes to an embassy, or before the embassy requests it. Yeah.
الإجابة هي لا، ليس كذلك، بل أن KCC بتبحث DS، وبعد كده لما السفارة بتطلب عدد معين بيدوا لهم من الموجودين. هل يمكن اعتبار حكم الفيزا هي إلا قضية وقت؟ أجل الزمن إذا المحكمة استئناف، هل يعتبر القاضي بالفعل حكم استعجال وإذا اعترف به؟ We asked this question before and he said, is Judge Mehta going to consider this really exhibit for the appeal? And if he accepted as exhibit, and it's an act towards the exhibit, are we going to get? Isn't this going to be more damage to the plaintiffs? Because Judge Mehta admit that the damage will be more. Will be more damage on the people, right? Hello?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay, good. Okay,
so can you ask the question again, one more time?
The question is, will Judge Mehta consider that what happened is an act towards the exhibit, so he'd be satisfied with this and renewal or extend? Or, and if this happened, Judge Mehta said already that extending will be more damage to the plaintiffs.
Right. I think he has to weigh those again. So I think he's going to weigh it again, given the timeline. So what does that mean? The briefing schedule and the hearing schedule essentially means we're probably going to have to wait, at least until the fall, the end of the year 2022 into the physical year 2023 before processing can even resume. We know the government is going to need some time to get the system in place to process it, and that they're going to need to come up with a scheme, so to speak, or a system, a strategy into processing visas. That's going to take them some time as well. And then the embassies have to start scheduling the visas. We know that takes about 2 months, right? So from when they schedule the visa from when the interview occurs. So we're looking at probably even after the appeal, that we're looking probably sometime in spring, that processing would resume, and then that processing is going to take at least probably 9 months to complete. So you're looking at a really long time. Judge Mehta is going to weigh that against the hardship to the government and make a decision here. How he comes out, I don't know. Judge Mehta likes to split the baby, so to speak. Sometimes
again, the baby is already in half.
We'll see how this holds up. But courts are generally inclined to have a stay in place during an appeal in this type of case. So it's probably leaning closer to the government, but we'll have to wait and see how Judge Mehta decides.
السيد رافائيل أرينا بيقول إن أكيد جادج ميتا سيعيد وزن ذلك ووضع ذلك في اعتباره، حيث أنه عارف كويس جدا أن بالمعنى ده الموضوع قد يأخذ حتى الربيع القادم في 2023، لأن بين الموعد وبين إرسال الموعد والموعد نفسه شهرين، قبل ذلك شهرين كمان للبروسيس. يعني إحنا ممكن ياخدوا وقت طويل يوصل 9 شهور. لازم يكون جادج ميتا عارف الكلام ده ويحط الكلام ده صوب عينه وهو بيحط قرار الاكستند. هنشوف هيقول ايه جادج ميتا، ويرجو انه يكون ده كله في مخيلته. Them two questions here, one after another, is related. He say, what good is the bulletin? You there? Yep. The bulletin, since there is now no DS-260 processing on July, August, September, and October, which we already know that. And here he says, my greetings to you. And when do you think the deadline for Mu'tasim is asking for the DS-260 processing? He means that. Sorry.
Generally,
the same.
Yeah, but generally the processing ends about 2 months before the deadline, because then they switch to the next year, right? So we know that processing will probably end sometime in August. From what they've said to us, how the KCC operates is that generally around that time they switch to the next fiscal year to begin processing those cases.
Okay, I'll give you your answer first, then I'll come back to you and tell you what's going on. السيد رافائيل أرينا بيقول لحضرتك ان الحكومه بتقول ان هم هيشتغلوا لحد شهر اغسطس، وبعد كده او ده اللي الحكومه بتقوله، وبعد كده هيكونوا بيشتغلوا في 2023. لكن هرجع تاني للسيد رافائيل أرينا وهقول له هنا في مشكله حاصله لانهم ما عملوش كده السنه اللي فاتت. But Mr. Arena, that is not what happened last year, because we saw last year, and we know from Charlie Oppenheim, the KCC workers, all the emails we got, and from our friend, dear friend, Simon, that once you receive the letter says you've been randomly selected and you make you submit your DS-260, they should start in May start processing 2023, which they should have done this with 2022 in May 2021, but they could not do that. So they kept working, and now this is Mr. Simon's story and Oppenheim's story as well. They kept processing 2022 until the 26th of May in 2021, or a point close to that. And they stopped processing 2022 because of litigations and Judge Mehta order to expedite, and Judge Mehta just told him that he wants them expeditiously issuing visas and interviews. Therefore, they stopped anytime around the 26th of May, and they kept processing until October. So based on that, I think they should have started processing May. So they lost at least 4 to 5 months.
Right. I mean, but listen,
they lost 4 months.
KCC has a lot of people. They can work on a couple cases at different times as well. So you can still have some people working on TV 2022 that start giving some people 2023. How that inner workings work, I don't know. But what we saw from the director of the KCC is that he said that at that time, that's when they switched their focusing, particularly on scheduling of interviews around 2 months before the end of the fiscal year. So that's what they wrote in the courts. They may be doing something different on the ground. That's yet to be seen. But listen, there's going to be litigation again this year too. So they're likely to continue processing of the DS-260s, right? It's not like this year doesn't have litigation, so we're not going to see the same thing we saw last year. There's going to be lawsuits involved with this year, so it may be the same thing.
جميل. لما كلمت السيد رافائيل وقلت له رأي سايمون كذا وكلام اوبنهايم كذا، وان كان المفروض يشتغلوا معاهم من شهر مايو، واللي حصل ده حصل عشان امر التسريع بتاع القاضي، وان هم ضغطوا على كي سي سي، فاضطرت كي سي سي تشتغل مايو 26 مايو ويونيو يوليو اغسطس سبتمبر، وضاع منكم هذه الشهور، ضاعت منكم، بس اكتوبر ما ضاعش منكم على فكره. قال ان السنه دي كمان في ضغط بالقضايا، في قضيتين مرفوعتين بالفعل وفي قضيه هتخش على الخط، فيتوقع ان حتى بالضغط على ذلك والضغط على كي سي سي فهم هيتحركوا بنفس الطريقه ويستمروا كما ادعى رئيس كي سي سي ومدير كي سي سي السنه اللي فاتت 2021، ادعى انهم هيفضلوا شغالين لحد شهر اغسطس، فيا ريت يفضلوا شغالين لشهر اغسطس، واذا كانت القضايا هي اللي خلتهم يعملوا كده، فالسنه دي كمان في قضايا. It's 1 hour 22 minutes. Would you take 1 or 2 more questions?
As long as you want, sir. I'm here as long as you want. I'm your guest.
I'm sorry.
I'm tired too. It's hard to talk for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. The answer here is no. He said, then officially we will see the visas coming before September. The answer is no. لا. I don't know where he got that from. Why is Egypt Balkan delayed and stuck in case number? Do you have an answer for this, sir? Would you like to answer this?
Well, I think it's just the number of Egyptian applicants, so they would limit. I think the question it's not the bulletin is delayed.
No, he's asking about I know the guy. I know the one who's asking. So he's asking why they're stuck on 13,000. Why they're not running like the others.
Why is it less than the region, or is it why it hasn't moved forward?
They did not move. Last time they didn't.
If it doesn't move, it means that the number of Egyptian applicants that have been processed are more than the embassies can adjudicate it. So it's based on what's going how many will be processed, right? So that's how the bulletin increases, is the demand. So what we can discern from that is that there's a lot of Egyptians that have had their DS-260 processed and are awaiting interviews.
السيد رافائيل بيقول لك يا شريف، لو الرقم ما تحركش بالمنظر ده معنى كده ان السفارة لا تستقبل أعداد الدي اس الموجودة عند كي سي سي، ولذلك السفارة لا تستوعب ما هو موجود من حالات جاهزة، فالتعطيل بيجي من السفارة بالمنظر اللي حضرتك شايفه. With that being said, we would like to thank you very much for your time, and I really appreciate your time. And is there anything you want to say before we leave?
I just want to say thank you, Sahar. This is fun. I like doing this with you. We should do it again. And to all the DV 2020, 2021, 2022, all the diversity visa applicants that were denied under the Muslim ban between 2017, 2018, 2019. I hope that there's going to be positive outcomes. We got to just all keep the faith, so to speak, and, you know, keep our ears to the ground and just keep working. And hopefully many of you will arrive in the United States.
السيد رافائل ارينا بيحيي حضراتكم ويقول لكل الفائزين 2017 18 19 20 21 و22 ليس امامنا سوى العمل والعمل ثم العمل وابقاء اذاننا مفتوحه والعمل على تاشيرات حضراتكم. Thank you very much, sir, and we hope to see you again. Thank you. Have a good one. شكرا لحضراتكم. بذلك يكون اللقاء انتهى. حضراتكم المرة اللي جاية هنجيب لحضراتكم محامين تاني زي ما قلنا لحضراتكم بالأمس. احنا بالفعل جبنا لحضراتكم لحظة كده ديسكتوب. بالفعل جبنا لحضراتكم كل المحامين وكل المختصين بهذا الأمر. كان زي ما حضراتكم عارفين كان معانا النهارده رافائيل ارينا، كان معانا قبل كده كيرتس موريسون، كان معانا بريت سايمون المراقب العالمي الذي يشهد له العالم كله، كان معانا المحامي جيسون بلاس، كان معانا المحامي تشارلز كوك. احنا بنجيب لحضراتكم اكبر واشهر شخصيات في العالم. هو ده سعينا، ان احنا نخدم حضراتكم. سعينا ان احنا نوصل بحضراتكم للحقيقة والحقيقة فقط، وهذه الشخصيات اللامعة في عالم الهجرة إلى أمريكا بشكل عام والهجرة العشوائية خاصة. وزي ما شايفين كل المحامين ده بشل المفش وزنفر الفيومي مالناش دعوة بيهم يا عم. أرجو إن حضراتكم تكونوا سعدت باللقاء وجاوب على أسئلة حضراتكم. أشكر لحضراتكم. ثانية قبل ما أشكر نقول لحضراتكم اللي حاصل النهاردة في 2022. اللي حاصل في 20 السؤال بيقول ايه؟ بيتن بيقول Hi sir, when they said 55,000 visa, it means that applicants and all their numbers and families, all the number of their families, not only the selectees. The selectees are only those who did the entry. يا رب يخليك. الآن ما استلمت الكيس نمبر. يعني ايه مش فاهمين؟ hello Mr. Irina and ساهر حمودة. متى يتم؟ احنا جاوبنا الكلام ده بقى. ارجع اي حد عايز يسأل في 2020 2021 يرجع لورا. كم تأشيرة متوقعة لقضية 22؟ انا اسف ان انا ما لحقتش سؤالك يا محمد. يا محمد، انا هحط لحضراتكم النهارده اخر تعديل في 2022. خلونا نشارك مع حضراتكم. ادي اخر تعديل في 2022. معلش نصغر صورتي انا ونشيل الموجود. 2022 احط على جنب كده عشان اعرف احنا بنكتب ايه ونقول ايه. راحت فين تاني؟ 2022 النهارده عندنا 125 لأفريقيا، 125 تأشيرة لأفريقيا، 31 تأشيرة لآسيا. عندنا قفزة قوية اهي لأوروبا. أنا مش سعيد إن سوء التوزيع بين أوروبا وأفريقيا وآسيا، سوء التوزيع كده، مفيش عدل كده، في تفرقة عنصرية واضحة جدا بالنسبة لي كمواطن أمريكي. مش سعيد بما يحدث. أنا كمواطن أمريكي شايف إن في تحيز مقصود أو غير مقصود، إنما في تحيز لأوروبا واضح. النهاردة عرفنا إن الرئيس بايدن إدى 100,000 لاجئ أوكراني. يعني الواحد بيتمنى، يعني إن لم أكن أوكرانيا لوددت أن أكون أوكرانيا. القاهرة وموضوع القاهرة زي ما حضراتكم شايفين كده، زي ما حضراتكم شايفين بالمنظر ده. أفريقيا حتى الآن 1019 تأشيرة، بينما أوروبا 19 تأشيرة، يعني حوالي 2000 تأشيرة، بينما أوروبا 3000 تأشيرة. زي ما انتم شايفين الأرقام كمان، إذا كانت أفريقيا فيها 1200، أوروبا فيها 1493، والنهاردة نزل لهم 300 وشوية دول. يعني وما ذنب النباتات. إيه رأيك في موضوع آسيا اللي واخدة 363 تأشيرة لحد دلوقتي؟ آسيا حزينة وواخدة فقط 600 تأشيرة. يعني لو حطينا عليهم دول يبقوا 841 تأشيرة، حرام طبعا، بينما دول 3000 تأشيرة. زي ما قلت قبل كده، لما تجمع ده وده هتلاقي أوروبا أكتر من ذلك بكثير. أنا بالأمانة مش راضي عن هذا الموضوع. كمان عايزين نشوف اللي نزل امبارح ده نزل فين. اللي نزل امبارح ده نزل فين؟ أنا طبعا ما شفتش، لكن كينشاسا أخذت اللي انتوا شفتوه امبارح كله تقريبا راح كينشاسا، كله تقريبا راح كينشاسا في الكونغو الديمقراطية، Democratic Republic of Congo. هي اللي خدت الشقلة الكبيرة اللي احنا شفناها امبارح. والمآتي خدت 108 امبارح. مونريال في كندا أخذت كل دول. جوهانسبرج في افريقيا اخذت 17. فين مصر يا جماعه؟ فين مصر يا جماعه؟ يا جماعه جيبوتي اخذت 14 حاله اهو. جيبوتي يعني الاخوه اليمنيين هنا في اسيا، ويعني الاخوه السودانيين 11 هنا في افريقيا. الكويت اخذت 6 تاشيرات، اسف 6 حالات ب20 تأشيرة، بينما القدس أخذت 6 لآسيا. نشوف لو القدس أخذت حاجة لأفريقيا تاني هقول لحضراتكم. مونتريال مسقط 3 حالات ب9 تأشيرات، ده لأفريقيا. على الله الكابتن أحمد يكون منهم. لآسيا أفريقيا عمان، مسقط عمان 3 حالات. المآتي جورسلم اهي اوروبا تاني. كوالالمبور في ماليزيا اخذت حالتين. افريقيا، وان شاء الله دول من الاخوه السودانيين اللي موجودين في ماليزيا وجوهانسبرج. كمان ما لقيناش مصر. امال فين يا كدابين؟ امال فين ال200 حاله اللي قلت لنا عليهم؟ فين ال200 حالة اللي قلت لنا عليهم؟ بلاش رجعتوا قلتوا 120 حالة يا كدابين. فين ال120 حالة اللي قلت عليهم في سفارة القاهرة؟ بلاش رجعتوا تاني قلتوا 80 يا كدابين. فين ال80 حالة اللي كذبتوا على الناس وقلت لهم 80 حالة في سفارة القاهرة؟ ادي لحد دلوقتي سفارة القاهرة ما خدتش من كل الكلام اللي احنا شايفينه ده، وال100 وكذا وال200 وكذا اللي رايحين افريقيا. ما شفناش. كنشاسا اخذت 234 تاشيره. كنشاسا، يمكن كنشاسا دي كنشاسا المحطه، يمكن كنشاسا البلد، يمكن انتوا فاكرين ان كنشاسا دي مثلا في مصر. انتوا ليه بتكذبوا على الناس؟ ليه بتكذب على الناس؟ اقول لك انا ليه بتكذب على الناس. بيكذب على الناس علشان عايز يعمل DS 260 ل 2023. لذلك بيكذب عليكم علشان يعمل ارضيه ويجيب ناس 2023 عشان يعمل لها DS ب 2000 جنيه. بشلة المفش، حضراتكم كل الناس عارفه مين بشلة المفش اللي مصر لحد دلوقتي انكم معاكم بعد ما قال 200 قال 120 بيقول دلوقتي 80 ميعاد في القاهره النهار بكره نهايه الاسبوع. فين يا بشلة يا مفش؟ فين يا بشلة ال 80 مقابله اللي في القاهره؟ انتوا بقى كناس عارفين ربنا وقاعدين بتسمعوا للناس دي ليه؟ يعني الرجوله او الانسانيه ما بتنقحش عليكم ونقول للناس حرام الناس دي بتضحك عليكم. ليه ما نقولش ل 2023 اوعى حد يعمل عند بشلة المفش DS 260 لانه مش هيديلك، هيحاول يعني يحتفظ بالايبيل وكذا كذا كذا. دي سيره الناس دي وازاي بتكذب على الناس. ليه تكذب على الناس؟ عشان يعملوا جروب فيفضلوا في الجروب. يبقى بشلة المفش نمره 1 يعمل DS 260. ده لسه بيقول اللي في 4 حالات جايين له من الكويت يعملوا له DS 260 الاسبوع اللي فات كان بيقول يعني 8000 جنيه. عشان كده لازم ليل ونهار يبقى موجوده على الجروب طبعا. ليه الكذب؟ كلنا عارفين الكذب ليه. وسيده سيده بقى ليه بيكذب؟ علشان يبقى مشهور ويفتح عياده في مصر. مش هيحصل، مش هيحصل يا مرجان. القاهره تراوح مكانها 28 اهو. شفناش ام ال80 اللي بتقول عليهم يا زنفل انت وتابعك افه. بالنسبه لزنفل وتابعه افه شفت بعض الناس بيسالوا بشلة بيقولوا له في واحد بيقول القاهره من هنا لحد شهر، من هنا لحد 18/5 63 مقابله حاله فقط. فبشلة المفش قال لهم يعني كل الكلام ده مش عاجبك يا سيدي الفاضل اللي كان بيسأل الأخ بشلة. 63 اهي، شايفها؟ شايفها؟ شايف 63؟ أكبر لك ال 63. أكبر لك ال 63 وأجيبها لك لحد عندك. شايفها؟ هذه الحالات 28 و24 اللي جاي و11 ريدي. وزي ما انت شايف كده عدد الحالات 63 اللي هم 143 تأشيرة. خدنا منهم 62 ومقابلات متجدولة 62 تأشيرة، والإجراءات الإدارية والرفض 19 تأشيرة. بذلك أكون خلصت ذمتي من ربنا وقلت اللي عليا، قلت اللي عليا وخلصت ذمتي لله، لله الواحد القهار. نصحت الناس، عرفت الناس الحقيقة. ما اقدرش اعمل اكتر من كده. اكتر من كده يبقى على رأي يعني هعمل فيهم ايه اكتر من كده؟ عيب وحرام ان انا اعمل فيهم اكتر من كده. الناس بتسألني يا استاذ ساهر احنا ليه المشاهدات قلت؟ احنا علينا عقوبة من الفيسبوك لان احنا ما اتبعناش طريقة الفيسبوك في ان احنا نعمل اعلانات. ومع ذلك احنا بنوزع حاليا على تويتر، على ساهر عطية، على اليوتيوب، بنوزع على العمدة، بيج اسمه العمدة، بيج كمان اللي هو ساهر عطية اللي انت عليه دلوقتي، بيج كمان اسمه ساهر عطية العمدة، وعلى قناة الجالية العربية، قناة الجالية العربية حاليا، قناة الجالية العربية في أمريكا بتبث من الأردن، وعلى صفحة الجالية العربية حاليا، الصفحة بتاعت الجالية العربية، وعلى صفحات ساهر، وعلى اليوتيوب وتويتر، وعلى قناة تلفزيونية، قناة الجالية العربية. أهلا وسهلا يا فريد، أنا متشكر لحضراتكم وأخذت من وقتكم كتير. أرجو أن حضراتكم تكونوا استفدتم. بالنسبة للناس اللي عايزة تعرف هنعمل إيه في ما يحدث حاليا، حضرتك تقدر تخش حالا على الجروب في الفيسبوك او على الجروب في تيليجرام اهو، وادينا هنطبعهم لحضرتك وهنحطهم هنا كده، واحنا تحت امر حضراتكم. خش على الروابط الموجودة تحت دي وادخل واحنا هنساعدك ان شاء الله. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.